Welcome to Health with Emma and Daisy. If you're a teen, this is the podcast for you. Many teens struggle with this, and
on this podcast, we will talk about something that isn't talked about enough: mental health. Today we're going to be connecting mental health today to the book Catcher in the Rye. Catcher in the Rye is a good example of a teen with mental health issues. This book takes place a long time ago, so there was not many resources for the main character, Holden, to deal with his mental health. Holden could be a very relatable character to many teens.
Antisocial nowadays is a major issue. It causes not only teens to be depressed, but it also makes a person have suicidal thoughts. When you're antisocial, you don't really have anybody to talk or vent to, which could do a lot of damage. You struggle with talking to people, and really you just get lonely.
In Catcher in the Rye, Holden is not very social. He spends most of his weekends in his room alone, while the entire rest of the school is playing football or watching the game. He's just alone in his room by himself because he does not want to be around other people.
Loneliness is a big struggle for teens in the modern day. It makes you want to hang around in your room more often, not talk to people. You don't want to socialize, and you don't want to go out and have fun, and that can make a person really sad, especially if you're antisocial, because it makes it a lot worse.
And clearly, Holden is very antisocial because he fits into all of these categories. He also doesn't have very many friends, and he's kind of just like a hostile person. He didn't really have much of a connection with many people other than his friend Ackley, but he really didn't want to admit that he had a connection with them.
Teens constantly start to feel insecure about themselves because they see other people their age looking or acting a certain way, and it starts to form jealousy. Jealousy is very common in teenage social circles.
While it doesn't outright say it in the book, Holden, you can tell that he can relate to this because he's comparing himself to the other people in his life. Characters like Stradlater and Ackley, while he talks down on them, you could almost see him reflecting himself upon them. He's always critiquing the way they act or the way they look, but we know that he has insecurities of his own. We know that he's not a very big person, so he kind of has to reflect his own insecurities on other people in his life.
We have all been there a few times, whether it be in romantic relationships or in just regular old friendships. Well, I know I definitely have.
Me too.
Maybe your ex-boyfriend got a hotter girl, and suddenly you started to care. Jealousy could change your emotions in just one blink of an eye. What do you think, Daisy?
The worst thing about jealousy is that nobody can control it. Everyone's had jealousy at some point, no matter if you like it or not.
Not only is jealousy a problem, but so is your anger. When I get jelly, my blood starts to boil. But jealousy isn't the only thing that leads to one's anger. It could just be a situation where you can't control how you feel. From a real-world perspective, anger seems to be the cause of a lot of problems. And I know plenty of people that express their emotions this way, and it really is a big hassle to take care of them.
It happens in the real world as long as it happens in the book as well. Holden very clearly expresses his anger several times. For one point, he gets upset at his roommate and tries to punch him, which clearly it does not go well for him, but he just can't control his anger and just keeps yelling at him and keeps trying to punch him when he could have used his words. But another time, he used his anger. He didn't know how to cope with his younger brother passing in the book, so he punches all the windows out in his garage. And if this would have happened nowadays, he could have found resources to deal with his mental health instead of using his anger as a coping mechanism.
I agree.
That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you so much for listening. See you next week.
Next week, we will continue to talk about mental health issues. And yeah.
Bye.